Okay, I think I'm live now. All right, it kind of works differently if I schedule a stream in advance, apparently. Good morning, everyone. Right, I'll just share the link in places. I usually share the link to my live streams in my Facebook group, which is New Leaf Designs Knitting and Crochet Crew. So if you want to be up to date to what's happening and you have Facebook, then feel free to join. And I'm also posting on Instagram where I'm at newleafdesigns.nl. All right, everything should be fine. So we're doing a different live stream today. Usually on Thursdays I do cozy crafting live streams. Good morning, Lane. So usually I do cozy crafting live streams where I'm just, crafting. And you can craft along with me. But there are just too many secret projects that I'm working on at the moment. So I thought I'd do something else. And also I have lots of stuff to talk about. So I thought I could probably fill a whole live stream with just chatting about those. So I thought to try this. Good morning. Hi, Marianne. Good morning, Emma. I hope everyone is doing okay. Or not just okay, I hope everyone is doing great. The sun was really shining very bright this morning, so I had to lower the blinds a little bit. But yeah, I hope it's okay. So today I want to talk about some upcoming workshops, some of my finished objects, and some of my works in progress, and then some other bits and bobs. But since this is a live podcast, I can also ask you, what are you making at the moment? Are you joining in the Tour de Fleece? I still haven't touched my spinning wheel since the Tour de Fleece started, even though I was spinning quite a lot just before it started. So yeah, I really want to get my spinning wheel out. But yeah, I know this is a huge water bottle. This is a 2-liter bottle, and I thought this would be best to actually make sure that I drink a lot. So let me know what you're making or what you're thinking of making, if there are any fun knit-alongs or crochet-alongs that you're joining. I know that the Bullfinch knit and crochet-along just started this week, I think, by Scapius with the huge whirl, which is a yarn ball, I think, with 3,000 meters of yarn. And it's been really fun seeing pictures of those who have started with the blanket. So if you're joining that, let me know. Hi, Chris. Good morning. Or it's almost afternoon there for you. Yeah, so first off, I have some fun workshops, and some of you will already know. So on my Patreon, I do a monthly workshop for all Patreon members. So no matter how you're subscribed to the Patreon page, whether you're just a monthly member or whether you're a free trial member trying it out, because everyone gets a 7-day free trial. Anyone can join in these workshops, the first one, the upcoming one, is about brioche, and we're gonna do single color brioche. But this is not what we're making. I have a really fun idea, but I have to test it out. So we're doing beginner brioche, single color brioche, on Wednesday, 14th of August, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. UK time. So that's 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. you know, Dutch and Belgian time, and France and Germany and oh, Chris is joining the crochet along. Yeah, it's a huge ball of yarn. A couple of my friends are joining as well, and I'm just in awe of the yarn cake. Yeah, it's really, really beautiful. So 14th of August, in the afternoon, we're going to be knitting one color brioche. So you don't have to have any brioche experience for that. You do need to know how to knit. I'm not teaching you to cast on and to knit or to purl. You need to be comfortably able to recognize your knit and purl stitches. And we'll be doing single color brioche, and I will also be looking at decreases. So yeah, and this is just a little swatch that I made just to familiarize myself again with the stitches, and it's just so fluffy. Oh, so fluffy. And yeah, I think this is just going to be a nice swatch. I'm envisioning that someday I'll have a swatch board, like from cork or something, and just pinning all of my swatches, and it'll look super cozy and professional. And yeah, that's what I have in mind. Emma's joining the live stream at work. Hope we can make it until the end without being disturbed. Yeah, fingers crossed. At home, I'm working on my Tour de Fleece project and knitting on a snowfall sweater scarf. Ooh, fun! And Lane is knitting the Vibes Tee by Tiffany Lynn. Oh, did I? That rings a bell. Is that the one with the really vibrant colors? Vibes Tee. I think. Yes, it has like neon orange. What am I saying? Neon pink stripes in there. Yeah, it's really fun. So the single color brioche, August 14th. And the way the Patreon workshop works is that I teach it online via Zoom, and on the day itself you get the link, you get the workshop PDF, but generally you don't really need to open the PDF during the workshop because I'll have all things you need on the screen, so you can just follow along even if you didn't manage to download it. And then afterwards I'll have the replay available for you, and yeah, I'll have some other pattern recommendations, and yeah, we're just having a lot of fun learning the new technique. And then on September 9th, it's a Monday. I'm trying out a Monday because yeah, just trying out different days. So Monday, September 9th, from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. UK time, so that's 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central European time. We'll do 2 color brioche. So I'm trying this out. So it's white on the one side and yellow on the other side. And good morning, Natasha. Lane says, I'm not sure what brioche is exactly. Oh, good question. So brioche is, it's a knitting technique where you do yarn overs over your stitches so that your stitches are more fluffy, more plump. So you're basically draping your yarn over every stitch. And then when you get to a stitch, you knit the stitch with its yarn over. And it's just, adding that extra layer of yarn in there makes the stitch so much more fluffy, and also it makes it like stretch out a lot, because these are, I think, 38 stitches. And if I would have done this in simple stockinette, it would have been like this wide. But in brioche, things just suddenly get a lot wider, so it stretches out a lot. So what I usually find difficult about brioche... Hi, good morning Annalena, good morning Rima, how are you? What I usually find difficult about brioche is that I have to find something that is allowed to stretch. So a shawl, that's usually fine, but a hat, you don't want your hat to stretch to the point where it falls off. Or a sweater, you don't want your sweater to stretch a lot. And there are brilliant patterns, brioche patterns for sweaters and hats, and it just takes a little bit extra attention for those. It takes a little bit more designing skills to figure out how to use that stretch. So, but what I thought is, because you see it's on the needles like this, but then you can stretch it out. It stretches so much, and it's a little bit bright here, so it's not showing up really nicely, but look at that. And it's so nice and drapey as well. So I thought I'm gonna make a market bag, so like a grocery bag for your fruits and veggies, or just a shopping bag for your everyday. And because I thought, a market bag that's allowed to stretch. Most market bags have some holes in there, and because when you stretch brioche, you'll automatically have these holes. So I thought, okay, I'll go for either a shawl or a market bag. So I'm using Pima cotton. I think this is from Betanet, but it might be Wool and the Gang. But I think it's Betanet. But it's 100% Pima cotton. It's really nice. Again, it doesn't show up nicely because it's so bright outside. But yeah, 100% cotton. I think that will work really nicely for this bag. So I'm basically knitting a big rectangle or a square, and then I'm gonna pick up stitches around the corners to make the handles, kind of. Good morning, Marcia. Your top is pretty. Oh, thank you so much. Oh yeah, I'll talk about this in a bit. So we'll do 2 color brioche September 9th, from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. UK time. And again, all workshops are free to join for any and all Patreon members. And I'll post the link below the video if you want to check it out. So then I want to talk about my finished objects, and yes, this bamboo top is one of them. I'm calling it my bamboo top because I used some bamboo blend yarn for it, and this has been a work in progress for 10 years. I cast the I want to say cast this on, but it's crochet. I started this during my holiday in China in 2014, and I remember that because I bought the yarn there, and I started this top during my holiday, so I know for sure it's 2014. And it's a pattern by Gosio. That's not how you pronounce it, I think. So that's Gosyo. And they have a lot of patterns on Ravelry. And when I first started out, I was completely in love with their patterns. They have lots of very cute crochet garment patterns. They also have lots of knitting patterns, but I found it's mostly crochet. It's a Japanese pattern designing company, and so most of their patterns are just in schematics, but when I checked back, this pattern actually got translated, which I don't think it was translated 10 years ago. So yeah, but I'll get up because the back, see, I have to get up for that. I knit the back on my knitting machine. So earlier this year, well, just a couple weeks ago, I pulled out this top again during another live stream, and I asked, okay, should I finish this top or frog it, or what do I do with it? Because yeah, I had only finished, I'll get up. I had only finished this part, and I had opened, you know, the neckline, and then on the back there are 2 rows, and I just had to finish these 2 to complete that row. But then the idea was to also make motifs for the back. And I just did not have the will to do that. But, you know, I started with the 2 motifs just to complete that row. And then I thought, okay, well, do I want to finish it? Do I want to use it for something else? Do I want to, you know, I could sew the neckline closed, because it is basically just, there is no further shaping in there. It's just, if you would have joined that together, that would just be a straight line. So I could have just sewed that together and maybe make it into a pillowcase or a bag, or I don't know. But I also just had received my knitting machine, and I was looking at my crochet stitches, and I thought, you know, I might be able to hang that on my knitting machine and then just finish it. And that's what I did. So I started with the back first. And you can see it's really nice and flowy and drapey. And oh yeah, and then I did that for the front as well. And you can see that I have done some ribbing here. I did that by hand. I do have a ribbing attachment for my knitting machine, but I haven't figured out how to do that yet. And I did go around the corner with my ribbing. Not sure if I would do that again, but I do think it looks kind of nice. Yeah, so I finished the bamboo top after 10 years. And I'm really happy that I did. The only thing I am wondering about is whether I want to dye it a different color. So it's a bamboo and cotton blend, and there's this brand called Dylon, which I think is Rit Dyes here in the UK. But their dyes, they work better on cotton and other plant-based fibers, whereas the Shakar dyes that I was experimenting with, they work better on what they call protein fibers, which is wool and alpaca, and yeah. So I might dye it. I think if I dye it maybe like a brown, that I would wear it more, because yeah, it being so floral and pink. I mean, I love a good pink, but I think I might wear it more if it was a darker color. Um, Glad you didn't frog it. Yeah, yeah. To be honest, when I was thinking about frogging it, I thought, oh, because each one of these motifs has two ends, so it would be so much more work to frog it than to finish it, I think. And I do like the draping as well. The downside to that is that it gets creased really easily, and I think that's due to the bamboo, um, because I don't have that easily with other wool and cotton garments that I own that I made. Um, but yeah, you see it on the knit portion. You don't really see it on the crochet portion. So if I did finish it with all crochet motifs, I think it would have been better. But I was too impatient. So I'm glad that I was able to just quickly finish that on the knitting machine. Um, Hello, Sonia from Germany. Good morning. Almost noon. Um, so this is my first finished object. The other one that I already showed last time on the live stream, but now I actually blocked it, is my cruise cardigan. It really matches the color of my bamboo top. Um, so my cruise cardigan in my gelato colors, very pastel-y colors. Um, my cruise cardigan is a free pattern on my website, newleafdesigns.nl. You can find it there in Dutch and in English. It's a free pattern. You can make it into any size. Yeah, and I was making this on the live stream for a couple of weeks, and I'm very glad that I finished it. And it's part wool, part cotton, so it feels very nice to wear in summer. Also because I used double crochet, US terminology for that, double crochet. So there are quite big like holes. So if there's a wind blowing or a breeze, it kind of flows through the cardigan, which is just really nice. Sonia says, I made your cushion from Scapius. Oh, nice! The Sassenach cushions. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really, really happy that I was able to design those. That was 2022, the knit along from 2022. Yeah, that was just an amazing experience. And I might have some news about the cushions very soon, but that's not really something I can talk about yet. So forget I said that. But yeah, the cruise cardigan is a free pattern on my website. You can use basically any yarn. Because it is more a recipe style pattern. You start with one row that goes over your neck and then down, and you basically you make that one row, you lay it across your neck, and then see like, oh, okay, this is how long I want it, and then you continue crocheting around and around. You can see the corners. That's where you increase. And yeah. I won't explain the whole pattern because it is just on my website. But yeah, it's really easy to make, and it's also easy to modify if you want to just crochet in the back loop, or if you want to crochet in both loops, or if you want to do some different techniques in there. Kira says I still need to do the second sleeve. Well, you'll get there. And And Sonia says she learned a lot about the intarsian. I think you mean stranded colorwork. About the techniques in the cushion. I'm very glad to hear that. So yeah, this is my second finished object. Right, I have 3 more. But 2 of those are really, really small. I finished 2 headbands. And one of these I finished maybe a month ago. And this one I just finished about a week ago. And you might have seen this one on my Instagram because I had sewed it together the wrong way round and I just got frustrated and threw it out of the room. But and I made a video about that. These are 2 cable headbands, and these were the patterns from the Patreon workshop in June. And we learned the braided cable. You can see it kind of looks like a hair braid. And this one is the ribbed cable because it is knit in ribbing. And I knit this in twisted rib as well. And yeah, and I sewed them together with a twist. And I did record a video about how you do that, so that will be up someday soon. Natasha asks, what is the difference between intarsia and stranded colorwork? Very good question. So both are a type of colorwork because you knit with more than one color in a row. For stranded colorwork, the color that you're not using for that stitch at that time, you take it around the back. So you'll have strands of yarn in the back, and that is stranded colorwork. For intarsia, let's see, I don't really have an example here. Okay. I'll just draw a quick thing. So for intarsia, okay, this is a really just quick and ugly sketch, but forgive me. So for intarsia, imagine that you're knitting this, and so the background color, so the white, that will be just one color, and these bits will be a different color, right? And for stranded colorwork, imagine that all of these shapes are the same color. For stranded colorwork, you would take one yarn and take that yarn through the whole row, both colors. You would take both the background color and the pattern color. You would take that through the entire row the whole time. For intarsia, you knit this in the background color, then you change to the pattern color, then you change to the background color, but because you're in a different spot here, you have a second ball of the background color. Then you get to the second shape and you have a separate ball of this color. Then you go on and you have a separate ball here of the main color. So for each of the shapes in color, you have a different tiny ball to your piece of knitting. And usually that yarn is wound around like a small bobbin or something. But yeah, for intarsia, you can have 8 balls of color to your work. And for some people find it easier because you don't have to wrap your colors that much. You don't have to you don't have to manage two colors at once. You're only working with one color at a time. But some people find that, with stranded color work, yes, you do have to manage two colors at a time, but you also just have two yarn balls on your work, and you can just work that. And intarsia is very often used, like you'll see, for example, your typical 90s kids sweater with maybe like a frog face. This is a sweater that I had. Oh my god, I did a bad job of drawing it. But like those typical kids sweaters from like the 90s, those were made with intarsia. Like, because the advantage of intarsia is that you can knit a whole big shape in just one color, whereas for stranded color work you want to have like a maximum of 8 stitches of one color at one time, because otherwise the strands will get too long, right? So with intarsia you do have more freedom of the shape of the color, if that makes sense. Just a really quick just a really quick comparison. So yeah, I do prefer stranded color work, but intarsia can be really fun. So yeah, and you can make it very easy. So yeah. So I did the cable headbands, and these are available as a free pattern on my Patreon. So if you want to knit these, you can find them on Patreon as well. And then the very last finished object, which is not knit or crochet at all, but it is a basket. Yes, I made this. I'm still surprised that I made this, but I was talking about it on the live stream a couple weeks ago, so I thought I would show you. Natasha says, okay, I see the benefit. When it's a larger piece, you have to knit on one color. Yes, exactly. And in some patterns you can use it together, because if you have those smaller shapes, and if you do know stranded color work, then you can totally use that. And then once you get to a larger piece, then actually switch to intarsia. Okay. Sonia says, I still need to learn how to knit a cardigan and sweaters. Yeah, just step by step. You can totally do it. If you did the cushions, you can totally do it. I was attached to the basket. So there's this this farm very close to where I live. It's in Forres, so here in Scotland, and they do a lot of basket weaving workshops, and it's so much fun. And it's they have a couple different baskets that you can make. This is the square basket, even though mine is not completely square. It's actually quite difficult to get them to be square, because these are, willow is, when it's dry, you can't really work with it. But if it's all, wet, you can bend it, but still it is quite difficult. And for this class, it said that it was not for beginners. So on a couple live streams ago, I was saying that I was so worried that I would not be able to follow the workshop, that they would be frustrated with me because I am a beginner. But I mean, if you've worked with any kind of fiber before, and if you've done maybe like weaving with yarn, yeah, you could totally do it. But and also I'm totally fine with it not being square. So yeah. It's better that it's not perfect. Yeah, exactly. I quite like it to be this way. Sonia says, we have a lot of those in Portugal. In North Portugal, we have fairs with just that kind of work basket. Oh, nice. Yeah, I really do like how this basket turned out. And we put in some shaping here so that on the side it is shorter than here. We added some bits and bobs in there, and it was just so fascinating. And it was a workshop. It was an entire day, so from 9:30 to 5 we were just weaving away, and it got quite hard on my thumbs because you have to push the willow into place. But yeah, it was really fun. So I just wanted to show you as well. Just gonna take a little break. This bottle is really too big for a live stream. Oh, bye Natasha. See you next time. Bye bye. So I do have some works in progress to show you, which you might have seen before as well. And thank you, Anna-Lena. So I've also picked up another one of my older works in progress, although I don't really know how old this one is. But it might very well be like 2 years old. And those are the Cooper socks from Alexa Boonstra. She has a book called Lace, and it's a Dutch book. And these are the Cooper socks. And did I cast these on at the book party? I think it was after I got home. But so she organized a book lunch party for the book Lace, and it was just so much fun. And she gifted me the yarn to knit these socks. And I finished this one quite soon, but the second one, you know how it is, casting on the second sock, it just takes a while. And one thing that I figured out was that I did something different, because my second sock is a bit longer. Yeah, you can, I don't think you can see it that well, but I made these stripes, I made them a little bit wider than these. But I don't think it really matters. I think I added another knit round for each of these stripes. Yeah, because I don't know. Why don't I ever follow a pattern as it's intended? I don't know. But that's at least what I thought I did here, but apparently I didn't. So whatever. And then the little heel flap, which I also did differently. So I don't know what that's about, because I did follow the pattern for the one I'm doing now. So apparently I did not follow the pattern for this one. But I'm still having fun. And the lace pattern is just really, really pretty. I love the pearl rose in there as well. It gives some really lovely texture. and I hope to finish these very soon. Um, you will notice that, or maybe you don't notice it right now, but you will after I tell you. I messed up with the color order on the first sock. So I did purple, pink, blue. But then here, after the heel or during the heel, I picked up the blue again instead of the pink. So I just I changed it. But I think it looks fine. So I copied my mistake on the second one as well, just to have them match in color. Lane says I need to learn toe up socks. All my socks turn out too big in one place and too small in another. Yeah, I mean, I do prefer toe up. And the main reason for that is that you can try it on as you go. You can definitely try these on as you go as well, but somehow in my mind it clicks better if it's toe up. So yeah. But so I hope to finish these very soon, and that will be another work in progress off my list. So each month I make a list of all of my works in progress, and I've been able to cross off quite a few. I've also casted on quite a few new works in progress this week, or this month. So yeah, but I'm not sure if I can show that bag because YouTube doesn't like that, but here. And then I'm working on another pair of socks, and I'm using a cable in here that we learned for the July patron workshop. So that was just last week. We did the Medallion Cable. Again, it's so bright here, so I'll have to show you here in order for it to show up. But the Medallion Cable, it's filled with usually moss stitch, but you can also fill it with stockinette, pearl stitches, garter stitch. Yeah. Marianne uses the Turkish cast on for that. Oh yeah, I do enjoy the Turkish cast on. I usually do Judy's Magic cast on, but the Turkish cast on is a bit easier to get to know. So yeah, good tip, Marianne. Thank you. So yeah, I'm. This has been on pause for a week now because I need to do the heel and I need to decide which heel to do. So that's what's taking so long. And then I'm working on the market bag, which I already showed you. So it's 2-color brioche. So you're wicking with 1 color at a time, and yeah, it's really fun. And yeah, I was just trying it out to plan my workshops, and I really wanted to just do 2-color brioche for the next workshop. But I did a swatch in 1-color brioche, and then I cast it on this, thinking that, oh yeah, we can totally do 2-color brioche and just skip the 1-color brioche one. But it's quite a big step up from regular brioche, and I'm seeing too many things where it could go wrong. And of course, with an online workshop, of course I can't magically be there alongside you and fix things for you. So whenever mistakes happen, stitches drop off your needles, and that is totally fine. And during an online workshop, I can guide you through picking up stitches. But I thought, okay, we can also make this easier on ourselves and just do one color brioche first. But because I think it will really help with learning how to do two color brioche, because yes, it is quite a big step up. Ooh. But I'm really enjoying this, so I'm really looking forward to it, and I will reveal the project for the single color brioche very soon. It's going to be, I think, a very helpful project that a lot of us can use around the house. That's not revealing anything. Yeah, but I'll show you soon. Sonia says she should make a tutorial now. It's beautiful socks. I still can't knit socks. Oh well, you can try with the simple toe-up socks that are on my YouTube channel. Just start very easy, and step by step you'll get there. Yeah, and yeah, I do like these. I did the cable on both the front and the back, but I'm just doing that for the leg, and of course for the foot I'm only doing it on top of the foot. So yeah, that's all I have to show you in regards to what I've been working on. Do feel free to share what you are working on if you've just joined. Oh, right. I am going to be at some events later this year. If you're in Scotland, I'll be at the Scottish Yarn Festival in Perth on September 7th, and I'll be in Glasgow on October 19th for the Glasgow School of Yarn. And I'm so looking forward to both of those events, and I've written about them on my website, on my blog. Oh, I split a stitch here. So if you want to check that out, then feel free. And for the remainder of the podcast, I kind of wanted to talk about a conversation that I've just seen in the crafting community, and I just thought it was really interesting, and I wanted to add my 2 cents. And so lately there's been a lot of talk about saying knitting is my therapy, and I just thought the whole conversation was really interesting. And I think it was brought about by Kemper from Junk Yarn. You might know Junk Yarn. It's so Kemper dyes yarn, and their brand is called Junk Yarn, and they dye lovely yarns, and it's all inspired by or the colorways are all named after famous women. So that's really nice. Lane says I have no attention span. So now I'm working on my Gambit jumper by Ranti Ihinmola. Gambit jumper. Let's see if I can find that. So you started out with the Vibes tee, the Gambit jumper. Oh, that is really, really nice. So it's kind of like a checkerboard jumper with, is it knit and purl stitches? Yeah. Oh, very nice. Is that intarsia? Yes. Okay, this is an intarsia sweater. Okay, very nice. Okay, I'm gonna look at that later. Distracted! I'm making it in green and light pink. Fantastic, fantastic color choice. Um, Kemper wrote a blog post saying that they were kind of annoyed with people saying knitting is my therapy because, well, it's it definitely can't substitute therapy, right? Therapy is so important, and for a lot of people living in the current world, I can't imagine going without therapy. And saying knitting is my therapy, it's kind of reductive, isn't it? Like, oh, I can just knit and I don't need therapy. Um, but I do think that I need knitting as well. um, so, and first of all, it is great living in a country where you don't have to pay for therapy. Um, so, in the Netherlands and in the UK, um, in my experience, you don't need to pay for therapy, which, is a great privilege. And I feel for all the people living in countries where you don't get free therapy, because I think it is such a vital, like, such an essential thing. Um, Lane says, funny, it's the same colors as the vibes. Oh, right, that was also green and pink. Sonia says, I have the crazy trio needles. Which ones do you think is better to start? Um, do what do you mean? Which sock pattern or which needles? Because you can totally use crazy trio needles. They work. You can follow the circular needles portion of the pattern if you use those. Yeah, but as I was just reading about that conversation, the only thing I could think about was if I only had therapy and not knitting or crocheting or anything like that. Yeah, I don't know. I think it just works together really, really well. Knitting and crochet, it just really allows me to find my calm, and I'm really thankful that I do have this hobby, and I don't think therapy alone would be sufficient. So Lane says knitting is very therapeutic and lifts my mood, but I also have therapy. They work well together. Yeah, exactly. I knit at my appointments. Oh my god, game changer. I never know what to do with my hands at an appointment. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll do that. So yeah, but also, so Kemper, I don't remember the full extent of the blog post, but I think they were also talking about the fact that for a lot of people in the yarn industry, knitting isn't fully a hobby anymore, and I do think that's true. Um, Knitting for me is definitely work, but some projects are more calming than others, and no, not and some projects are more calming than others, but sometimes I do need something else entirely, such as the basket weaving. That was fabulous. I didn't think about anything else that day. Whereas with knitting, when you get really good at a craft, it often doesn't take my mind off things anymore. I get too good at it so that I can keep thinking those intrusive thoughts while knitting. Or if it's knitting, I'm just thinking about, oh God, I need to finish this. Oh no, I'm a terrible person if I don't finish this in time, you know. So in those cases, it works better if I have something else entirely, like painting or something. Which therapy are you making? What do you mean? Sorry, I don't know what you mean. Yeah, so sometimes I have to find something else entirely. Whether that's painting or sewing. Sewing is very nice. The needles for socks, I always use circular needles, which are these. But the Adi Crazy Trio needles that you mentioned, they kind of work the same because your work is on 2 needles at a time. And then I'm trying to think, because I do have those needles myself. And for a circular needle, you then take this needle and start knitting. But for the Crazy Trio needles, you take the 3rd needle and then work across your row. I suppose I could do a video on those, because it is just a little bit different than circular needles. So I understand if that could be confusing. Yeah, but just reading that blog post just got me thinking about things. Like, definitely crafting is not everything when it comes to reducing anxiety, but also I think therapy is not everything. For me, it's really a combination of therapy, medication, and busying my hands with something. And knitting or some other kind of craft that you do with your hands works really well for me, because you see something that, you see something in front of your eyes that actually evolves as you're working on it. So that works really well for me. Hi, Serena. Good to see you. How you doing? So yeah. And you kind of maybe caught me at the end of the stream, because I kind of ran out of things to talk about. So if you have any questions for me, go ahead. But yeah, otherwise I might end the live podcast here. I wanted to try out something new today and see how this works, because I think if it's a shorter video, that people might also watch it if it's not live. Because with a lot of the live streams, I love doing them, but looking at it objectively, of course my tutorial videos work better for my business than live streams, and people enjoy watching tutorial videos more. But I thought maybe I'll just try a live podcast and see how it goes. Oh, you didn't get to meet David Tennant. Oh, because that was that last week, the Dutch Comic Con? He had to work. Oh no, you were really looking forward to that. I'm really sorry that that didn't happen. Go ahead, Lane. Lane has a question about knitting, but a little random. I love random questions. I'm just loving knitting this brioche project at the moment. The yarn is a little bit splitty, but I do think cotton works best for the market bag I have in my mind, because yeah, I just think cotton works best for grocery bags. Oh, you did get to take a picture with Misha Collins. Okay, that's nice. Oh, it's last month. Okay. Oh yeah, last week was TwitchCon. That's the one I was confusing it with. Lane says, I have a finished object that my boyfriend put through the dryer on accident, so it got super fuzzy and shrunk. Oh my god. I had to add about 3 inches to the bottom, and now the two sections look totally different. Yeah. Okay. Right, so what kind of yarn is it, and what kind of project is it? I'm assuming a sweater? I haven't been able to get them look even close, and I'm put it through the dryer about 20 minutes, but I'm scared. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I mean, I'm surprised that you even were able to add 3 inches to that. Was it crochet, perhaps? Because knitting for Olive, thicker merino. It's a tank top. Okay. Oh man, that's such a bummer. So, okay. Let's see. So you were able to just frog the cast off to add to it. All right, Sonia, see you next time. Thank you for being here. Would it be able to frog it completely and then knit something else with it? Because a fuzzy yarn, it can make really great things. But usually it's not possible to frog a yarn if it got into the dryer. You frog the whole ribbing. Okay. So I think if it were me, I would then frog the whole thing and reuse the yarn for something else. Or I would, because the question, okay, let me ask you this. If you were able to get the new section to look similar, right? Would you want the tank top that way? Like, would you envision wearing yourself? Would you envision yourself wearing the tank top while it's, in its fuzzier state? Because I can imagine that it would feel warmer than usual. And you might not want to wear a tank top that is warmer because it doesn't really fit together. You'd hate to frog it because you work so hard on it. Yeah. But yeah. Okay, so if you would wear it, then you could wind the other ball that you have, wind it into a hank, so into a skein, and then wash and dry that yarn skein, and then finish it with that yarn, because then it will look slightly similar, I'm thinking. I think that's what I would do. Or, you know, I would just frog it. But, you know, because I don't think, well, maybe because I'm not, I don't knit a lot of tops from merino, so maybe that's why. But yeah, you could treat the yarn what you have in the same way, and then hope you can finish it with that. But yeah, sorry that happened. But yeah, I hope that will work. Yeah. This brioche is like, because it's cotton, it slips around on the needle, but it is really fun to knit. All right, I think I'm going to end the live podcast here, just to keep it a little bit shorter. I know it has already been an hour, but we'll see. It's just a little experiment to see if yeah, to see how it goes. He was just trying to help. Yeah. He'll probably be like, oh, the one time I do the laundry. Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. I hope it works out. But yeah, I think I will be back next week, 25th. I think I'll just be back Thursday morning, but I will keep you all updated I will keep you updated on my in my Facebook group, that's New Leaf Designs Knitting and Crochet Crew, and on Instagram, which is newleafdesigns.nl. So depending on which platform you like, you'll find news about any upcoming live streams there, or in my newsletter. Thank you, Chris. So yeah, but I really enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed watching this as well, and I hope you have a great weekend ahead of you. I know it's only Thursday, but I always say this because I have the weekend on my mind. It's only one more day, so have a great weekend ahead of you. I hope it is very nice weather where you are. I hope you get a lot of crafting time. And yeah, I hope to see you next time. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you very soon. Thank you. Bye bye.